Hello and welcome to Ask Me About K-Pop, the essential guide for recent converts and seasoned fans alike. My name is Shannon.
And I'm Angelica.
Oh, and it's March again. Oh, it's March again, gang.
It's March again already. Yeah. I don't have anything else to say about
I
that.
don't have nothing else to say about that. And yeah, it's been like a really crazy week with Spotify and Kakao M fighting, and the K-pop got
God.
Thanos snapped, and
Yes,
everyone's a bully and everything's a mess.
Oh my God, everything is a mess. And I saw a tweet that just said like, Super M, do something.
Yes. We need the Avengers.
Where are the
right
Avengers
now.
of K-pop? Yeah, this whole bullying thing has been really interesting to follow. I have been keeping up with some of it. I feel like now is not the time for us to go into any of the details.
No, it seems like one of those things that'll take a year for all the dust to settle and we can revisit it another time.
Yeah, a lot of investigations are like currently underway according to many different companies. And like, I don't know, but it also seems like it's almost this weird, and I don't want to say, I don't know. It just almost seems like it's I don't want to say mass hysteria, but this like trend of just accusing whoever you want, like just the number of people that have been harassed, or excuse me, the number of people who have been accused is like either Korea is like a really intense bullying problem, which maybe is true. I feel like I've seen that trope a lot in a lot of dramas and stuff, or a lot of these are lies. But I don't know. Only time will tell.
Only time will tell. I mean, apparently the initial blast was because of Naver changing some kind of like rules or some kind of layout for their webpage so that like so that there wouldn't be like trending topics anymore. So then everyone was afraid that like celebrities would be able to bury their bad news easily, or because they like changed the rules. So they were like, it's our last chance.
Oh, air out your grievances.
To air out your grievances.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I will have to say, because it's the only one I feel very comfortable speaking about, is that the Hyuna one made me laugh very hard because she immediately came back and was like, I didn't have a childhood. I didn't go to school. I didn't have any time to be bullying classmates. Like... I just thought that was like of anyone to come for, that just felt like the real wrong choice, because her receipts were sad and true.
Yeah, and she immediately spoke about it herself, right? Like,
yeah.
She addressed it and didn't, like, the company didn't speak for her. She just, like, went on Instagram and, like, posted her own words. Like, this is false for X, Y, and Z reasons. And I think that adds a lot of like credibility to it.
Right.
But I think it's also a real difference in like P Nation and then other groups or other companies that then like they are having to do like very intense investigations, and they're having to put out like multiple statements, and then there's a lot of confusion because like the statements are being mistranslated.
Oh, God.
Oh, it's a mess, y'all. It's quite a mess.
It's so messy. In fact, the reason I brought all of the mess up is just to say that around this time last year, for similar "the world is a mess" reasons, we thought we would jump in a time machine and just go back to the past where everything is settled because it already happened. So we're going to keep the tradition going. And last year we covered the year 2000. So now it's time to look at 2001.
Yes.
Yeah. And last time we talked for like 3 hours and then realized we had talked for 3 hours. So we split it into 2 episodes. So this time we planned ahead and we're splitting it to start with.
From the jump.
So we're going to look at the first 6 months of the year 2001 in the K-pop world. And like last time, we've got comebacks and debuts and weird news and sad news. And like, it was a year in K-pop like they always are.
Yeah, it'll be a nice little break, a little time jump, get away from this fucking world we're living in
where
now.
we are right now. All right, well then let's jump into it. So the very first comeback of 2001 was on January 1st. a male solo artist named Lee Ji-hoon put out an album called Special With, and the lead single that he promoted was called Doll, and it featured Shin Hae-sung from Shinhwa and was written by Kangta. This song went to number 7 and won like 3 music show trophies. And yeah, it's like a nice dude ballad duet, and they wore like turtlenecks and scarves on every stage and like looked very cozy while they sang their song.
Yeah, they had a full like all lady string orchestra behind them, and the fan chants were so loud. Like people were singing this song with them. And I was like fully ready to be on board with this song when I was going through this playlist. And then I watched the music video.
Oh my God, this music video, y'all.
The first like, it's like 5 minutes long. And the first minute of it, I watched in silent, abject horror. Uh-huh. And then the next like minute of it, I watched just saying, no, 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 no. And by the end of the music video, I was like yelling, like distraught, like this fucking pervert. Like this is horrific.
It's so
I hate
awful.
you. I don't want to hear another word you have to sing. Shut your mouth. It's so upsetting.
Yeah, there's a full playlist of everything we'll be talking about today on our YouTube. I don't know if we should, is it worth spoiling, or do we just tell everybody that they need to go watch this music video?
I mean, I don't know if it's a spoiler because it happens like immediately. It's
True.
not like a twist. Like
You're
this
right.
guy's just obsessed with this girl that it lives in his building, and he presumably like is a doll maker already because it made it seem like he already had dolls in his house.
Right.
But anyway, he makes a really realistic doll of
One
her.
of those like big real sex dolls that like cost thousands of dollars. He like makes one of those of her and just sets it on his counter. Oh, it's so weird.
And then like avoids her like in the hallway and stuff.
He like smokes in front of her but like doesn't look at her.
And then
It's
she
so
like
weird.
she like knocks on his door to like give her his mail or something, and I was screaming at the computer like, run away. Like, oh my God,
Don't open the door.
throw his mail in the trash.
Oh man.
Anyway, it's upsetting.
It's truly, truly wild. So that was the first comeback of the year. On the next day, on January 2nd, there was some like breaking news kerfuffle. 2 members of SES and a member of Shinhwa had their educations called into question. They were all like enrolled at some Korean university. And then it was like, but they went to American high school and their credentials weren't, something about their credentials was bad. And so like SM was in trouble because everyone was like, did SM pay off the universities to like get them in if they didn't deserve it? So they had to like stop SES's promotions because one of the last things we talked about in the 2000 episode was an SES album, and they had to like stop promoting because of this scandal.
Yikes.
But speaking of yikes, this next thing is super yikes, and it's the worst piece of news I have for this whole year, so I'll just say it now, and then there's no more terrible surprises after this. On the 5th of January, a 15-year-old Click B fan was trampled to death by other fans when they were chasing the van away from a music show. And one of the members, Jong Hyuk, who was 17 years old at the time, disappeared for 2 weeks after this happened because he felt so responsible for it. And then came back and like wrote her a song that they put on their next album that came out later. But like, gasp.
Wow. What a horrifying drama for everyone involved.
Yes.
That's very upsetting.
Isn't it? I couldn't believe it. I couldn't
Yikes.
believe it when I read that. So, yikes. everyone be careful in crowds. And this is why we don't
Yes.
this is why we don't do fangirl chasing. People get hurt.
Yes, it's very dangerous.
Very dangerous. Oof. So yeah, that was crazy. And that was like January. There weren't a lot of comebacks I could find because, as noted last year, or in the 2000 episode, people or groups and artists used to promote songs way longer. They would put out one album and then like do 3 singles through the whole year. So there wasn't like as much new music as there was people just continue. Like most of January was things that came out at the end of 2000. Anyway, so then that takes us to February. All right, February 3rd. We have our comeback of Fly to the Sky, who we had as our random game group last week. Was that last week?
Yeah, just like last week, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. They put out an album called The Promise. The single was also called The Promise. This album went to number 2, and it sold over 200,000 copies.
Yeah, the song is like a nice ballad, but then the music video has like there are backup dancers and there's like slow-mo choreo to this song. Like it doesn't make sense why there's any choreography to this song at all, because it sounds like one that you would just stand and sing. And then like the whole and then like when one of them is not singing, he's like slow motion dancing with the backup dancers, and it's really takes you out of it.
Yeah. The music video has that really fun, like, there's just, like, columns in the middle of nowhere, and it's, like, really bright blue, like, crazy fisheye lens. They're wearing, like, blue contacts, too, that, like, look really weird in their eyes.
And there's all these weird, like, lava lamp columns, like, all of these, like, bubbles in tubes, like, everywhere.
I also noted it's in the playlist that the other single they promoted off this album is called Maybe God Knows, and it's like that exact same classic 2000s pop R&B of the same 10 sounds we talked about in the 2000s episode, and they do dance in that one.
Yeah, I loved that other single. It has like a super bye 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 intro, and then like the whole thing is just, it's like great choreo, super fun. Right up my 2001 alley.
Yeah. Fly to the Sky was good. I wrote down it's nice that they can sing. We said it last week, but it's like nice that they could actually sing too. It's a real perk when it comes to first gen music.
I was gonna say, yeah, in the first gen, it's a gem.
Okay, the next comeback on our list came out on February 7th. This was a comeback of Jin Yu Sean. The album is called The Rain, and the single was called Ayo. This album went to number 4, got a bunch of music show trophies, sold 200,000 copies. Yeah.
My only note is yikes all around.
Yikes all around.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there were like parts of this music video that I thought could have been fun in sort of like a cheeky sigh way.
I liked when the dog would sing.
Yeah, like the dog would sing, or like when the like in the second part of the music video, when like one of the guys is driving around and like the delivery guy on the bike like sings too, and it was like shots of normal Korea, right?
Sure.
But then there was the rest of the music video that was just like appropriating Black culture all over the place, from hairstyles to fashion to the fucking song itself.
Yes.
So it was just, you know.
Yeah, I thought it was crazy when the music video started. I was like, oh, this is like a Cypress Hill music video. And then I saw on the track list that Cypress Hill actually featured on this album.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I was like, well,
there you go. Nailed it. Called it.
All right. February 12th, we have a debut. This is the debut of male solo artist Cha Tae-hyun, and his album is called Accident, with a single called I Love You. if you are listening to this, there's a good chance that you know who Cha Tae-hyun is, because he is like variety show royalty these days. He's one of the permanent cast members of 2 Days, One Night. He's on a million things, and they always joke about how he used to be a pop star for like a tiny minute. And here it is. This is the tiny minute. Later this year, he starred in a rom-com called My Sassy Girl, and that's still one of the like highest grossing like Korean movies ever. So this was like right before his like big moment. But he like debuted as a singer after winning some kind of TV talent contest in 1995. And had been like doing acting and DJing up until this point when he debuted with this fun little song.
Yeah, this song is fun. It has kind of like ABBA disco strings, and like the performance. I mean, obviously people were really into it because the fan chants in this one were really intense. And then it like zoomed in on his face and I was like, but he's just some guy. Like it's not even that hot. But he is a good singer and it is like a fun song. But it has a lot of weird arm choreo. Isn't that the one where they do the like,
I think so,
the weird like bird wing dance? I don't know. The choreo is weird. That's the only note I have.
Yeah, and the music video was one of those mobster action fighty boy music videos. Like he's running from bad guys, and there's like,
yeah. This music video didn't make any sense because like I watched the performance first, which was like super fun, and then the music video like had this guy and this girl like pickpocketing people in the club, and then the singer, who was not the guy pickpocket, gets beat up by some other mobsters, and then like the pickpocket is somehow involved. I don't know. I thought maybe it was like a case of mistaken identity, but it's truly hard to follow the plot.
Yeah,
because then there's another point where like the singer is beating up the pickpocket guy, but then the pickpocket girl gets taken captive and the singer cares about it, but we don't know why. It's very confusing.
Yeah, I think that in most cases, trying to make your cinematic crime music video, I feel like often a lot of things are lost if you try to make the story too big.
Yes.
Like, Yuno's thank you works somehow because it's a very tiny moment. They tried to kill him and he said, so he's gonna come back. But then that other music video you watched with those boys where it like went through their whole descent into crime and then like everyone died, and it just felt
and that's
like
too much. That's too far. Yeah. I agree.
So that was the debut of Cha Tae-hyun. On that same day, we have another extremely important debut, and I'm really excited to talk about this. I have so many notes. On February 12th, Psy put out his first album, Psy from the Psycho World, and the single is called Bird. The song was immediately a smash. It had 11 music show wins, and the song went to number one, even though it was protested by and like sanctioned by like Christian groups and children's groups for being like indecent and bad for children.
Yeah, we've talked about this with Psy before. I think maybe in our like first generation episode when we talked about like the Hallyu wave
in the
general.
solo episode. When
maybe.
we first talked about him as a solo artist.
Maybe. I don't remember exactly, but I know we've talked in general about how like Psy's sort of shtick or like appeal is that he writes really clever lyrics, and a lot of times they play off of like double entendres and innuendos or plays on words where it sounds like he's cursing but he's actually saying something else, and that is what this song is built off of. Like the song is pretty like harsh, I guess. The lyrics are pretty harsh.
Yeah, he talks about like meeting a very naughty girl in the club, and he's like, you're so gross and like slutty, but I love it, and you won't give me any attention, and you're gonna regret it because I would do anything for you, you naughty club girl, is like kind of the whole vibe.
Yeah, and he loves her, or doesn't love her, he like wants her, but also hates her.
He's disgusted by her, but like, oh, he loves her so much.
Yeah. Did you also, you said you had a lot of notes.
Yes, so I wanted to explain the specific wordplay in this song and how Psy kind of invented a new curse with this song. So the chorus of this song keeps repeating the phrase "새 돼서," which means to become a bird, like 새 as a bird. But if you use a different word for bird, which is 저, and say 저 돼서, well, 저 돼서 is a curse to say I'm fucked. So he basically took, like, if you say one type of bird, it sounds like a curse, but he used a different word for bird to make this nonsense phrase that doesn't mean anything. But if you're in the know, it's a sneaky way to say I'm fucked without, like, actually cursing. So, like, ooh, Psy is so clever. And he was so clever from the second that he debuted, is the point.
Yes, and that phrase became an idiom to mean
Yeah, you can
I'm
just say
screwed.
that.
So like now instead, like it's like a cleaner version of I'm
Yeah.
fucked. So now you can just say that instead and mean I'm screwed. Yeah, I read a lot about the lyrics and I saw that they had like a couple of different idioms in them. Like one of them, the rubber he makes a note about like rubber shoes, and it's like this is a Korean idiom that signifies a woman who leaves or cheats on her man. So she's a cheater, I guess, is the problem. And it comes from an ancient Korean story about a woman who was caught cheating on her husband, and when she tried to run away, she was in such a hurry that she put on her rubber shoes backwards. So he says some line about like you like running away with your backwards rubber shoes or something like that. He also calls her a 10-cent woman, which is Pt.1 in Korean and sounds like fuck.
Yeah, it sure does. He was really good at finding every possible way to
Not
sound
curse.
like you're saying fuck.
But
Yeah.
curse.
But I was just like so captivated by his like debut music camp stage because
God,
like
yes.
he's just always been just the like overconfident way that he carries himself, and the girls are going fucking ape shit. And he like takes off this like velvet coat and he has like a sleeveless button down that says Psy and Jewels, and he's just dancing and the girls are like fucking losing their minds over Psy. Like, it's great.
It's fantastic. My first note was you haven't changed a bit, because it is like, yeah, like the funky choreo, that like insane velvet suit, the like really high energy. He has these two backup singers who are so good. They're doing their best, like sort of doo-wop-y style, like background vocals. And I even noticed that like some of the background dancers are like laughing and they're like having like a really good time like behind him or whatever. Like one of the girls cracks up like in the middle of it. So it's a really fun stage, and it just perfectly like you watch that stage and you're like, ah, Psy has always been Psy.
Yeah. He's so good. This is just like a random note, but it's a thought I had today and I have to share it. So I was watching, Hyuna and Dawn were on this show that's like sometimes called My Little Old Boy or like My Ugly Duckling, and it has like Heechel's mom on it. It has a bunch of celebrities' moms on it.
Okay.
Hyuna and Dawn went on it, and then there was a point where they like cut away to like Jessie and Psy talking to somebody. Anyway, Psy was just talking, and his voice is just so good. Like his speaking voice is like, it's just the perfect tone, and the like resonance is so nice. And I just decided that I really like Psy's voice, and it's a thought I had today.
Fair
and
enough.
It came up, so I had to say it. Okay, 20th of February, come back. This is Sharp. We've talked about them before because this was a co-ed group. They put out their fourth album called Forever Feel So Good, and the single on this one is called 100 Days Prayer. This album went to number 5 and sold 240,000 copies. And I think that this is the same song we played or studied when we talked about them in the co-ed group episode, and I've always thought that the chorus of this song like fucking slaps, and I still think that.
This song is really fun. My only note though is the like one guy who's on stage wearing a see-through shirt, and like his only role in the entire song is to come in during the chorus and go party, party, party.
Yes,
and that's the only thing he does.
I also noted that in the music camp stage or whatever I put in the playlist, that one of the girls' hairs might make you feel better about Timmy's current hair, because like her skunk dye job is truly something I've never seen before.
It was pretty bad. There is someone later on, I don't think I wrote it down, but somebody in one of these music videos actually has Timmy's like real current dye job, like down to the like different like
The exact
widths.
Pieces that are.
Yes, it's just longer, and the like blonde under dye, like the one in the music video in this playlist was just longer than Timmy's, but it was the same pattern, and I was like, this is horrifying. Oh, Timmy.
Anything else to say about Sharp? No,
I didn't have anything else.
All right. Moving into March. Okay, so on the 7th of March, Chakra came back with an album called Chakraka, and the single is called End. This album went to number 10. It's the same Euro dance with African drums that it was before. I wrote, this concept is still so awful. It's just so awful. They filmed the music video for this one in the Philippines, in the jungle. I don't know what to say.
I think we've watched this music video for another thing about Chakra, because this music video has like 5 different kinds of quote unquote Indians, and also has little boys and Abraham Lincolns.
Oh my God. Okay, this is the one. We got them in the random game, and this was their
And
most
this is what we
popular
watched,
song,
right?
so I think this is what we watched.
Yes.
I knew
As
we
soon
had
as I
like
saw the
played it on the
Lincolns,
show,
was
and I
like,
couldn't
we've
think
seen
of
this
why.
before. There's so much happening in this music video, and literally my only note is, well, there's no end to the bad decisions here. And that's all I got. Every frame of this is a bad choice. Every frame and every detail.
Really bad choices. Moving on. The next thing I had on the note, or the next thing I had in my notes, was a debut of a supposedly beloved indie group, even though I couldn't find like anything about them except a ton of comments on their videos of people being like, I loved them. But this was another, like a little boy and girl duo called The Jadu, which means the plum. And they put out this cute song called Destiny. And I just thought this was so fucking cute and fun.
It was
and I was
really
happy
cute.
to have stumbled upon it.
Yeah, it's super cute. They're both dressed like camp counselors from like some like TV
Disney
show or
Channel
something.
show.
She has like huge glasses and like big flippy blonde hair. She's a really goofy dancer. Like there's a part where she has to do like a dance break, and she's just like so awkward. She really reminded me of Amy Poehler in Wet Hot American Summer.
Oh my God, yeah.
But the song itself was really fun, and she's a good singer. I like
For sure. Yeah, I just had to note that because I thought it was too cute. All right, 19th of March. Next comeback. Hong Kyung-min comes back with his album Hong Kyung-min No. 4, Creative. And the single is called Kajoga, or Take It. This album went to number 6 and sold over 100,000 copies. He got 7 music show trophies and the Gaio Solo Award for 2001 for this song. This is the guy that in the 2000 episode we said he was calling himself Korean Ricky Martin. Mm-hmm. And he's still at it.
That came to a head in this.
I said
sure.
my note is that Ricky Martin should have sued him over this music video because it is a direct ripoff of the Livin' La Vida Loca music video. Like they tried to recreate it's the same music video.
It's the same music video. It is the same. And I watched it before I read your notes. And my first note was because I really liked the stage. And I was like, wow, he has a great rasp. He has a nice face. Like, I like this rock ballad. Like, this is going to be fun. And then the music video, I was like, oh, okay, this is like a little bit straighter of Ricky Martin. And then I was like, never mind. And I crossed it out and I was like, it's not straighter than Ricky Martin. It's just as gay. And there's like that woman like dressed like Shakira and her like silver baubles or whatever, just like hipping it around, and that other woman in the fuchsia pantsuit who just keeps doing like deep squats on the pole.
Yes, that's all she's got.
She was feeling the rhythm. Feeling La Vida Loca is what she was feeling.
For sure. Yeah, so that is Hong Kyung-min, who I just realized today has been on Return of Superman for like a little while, like with his kids. And I was like, oh, right, because he does not look like he did back then. So it's not my fault that I didn't notice. Okay, March 22nd, we have another comeback. This is the rap group Drunken Tiger. They come out with an album called The Legend of ... And the single was Good Life. This album went to number 7 and sold over 160,000 copies and got 2 Inkigayo trophies. And a piece of trivia, this was the first time that Drunken Tiger had come back since, in 1999, Tiger JK was arrested for supposed methamphetamine use. And he maintained that while he admitted to doing drugs plenty of times in his life, that he absolutely did not do this meth, and that there was another rap group who had been arrested and gave his name up in a cop exchange for a lenient sentence. So he still maintains he didn't do it, but he did go to jail for a month and was not allowed to be on TV for 2 years. So this was their triumphant return after that time had ended and they could be back.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Yeah, this is my only real note for this is that it had an interesting instrumentation. It has like this, it just is like mostly built off of this one like loop. And then the chorus has these like very haunting background vocals. But other than that, I don't know. It's just like a rap song. I felt like I didn't have a lot to say about it.
Yeah, fair enough. But people seem to like it enough, and we're happy to have them back. So
people love them.
Notable.
They were very popular.
Okay, on the 30th of March, we have another debut. This is a girl group called Jewelry. Their debut album is called Discovery, and the first single they released was called I Love You. Say baby now, say baby now. This album didn't have very good sales, and when I was looking it up, like even their fan sites were like, the first album was bad and everyone hated it. And I was like, wow, you guys don't have to be so harsh. But I guess everybody really hated the first album because apparently only one member got most of the lines, and then the other lines were like the other members' voices like mushed together like digitally or something.
Yikes.
So it was weird, but it had like a very light concept, like fresh, bright colors, smiley girls, bouncing choreo, all of that, girl group debut stuff.
Yeah, just like a cute little bubbly girl group. One of the girls in this music video has hair all the way down to her hips. It's crazy. And the other one, the one who's like the main singer, because in that one stage that you included in the playlist, one of them is a very good singer.
Yes.
And she is the one who is like the sexy one. And in the music video, I was like, oh damn, like that is very sexy, because the whole thing is like super cutesy. And then you get to this chick and and she like pulls off her gardening gloves like with her teeth, and then she takes off her shirt like in front of this guy, and then like because she's supposed to go fishing, so she like wades into the water with her like huge like fisherman pants and like a sports bra, and is like flirtily like fishing with this guy on the shore. It's so silly. It was very silly.
Yeah. It is silly. There's a second, I also put it on the playlist. There's a second single off of this album called Any Longer, where they do the dance in these like white outfits that have feathers all over them that were pretty crazy. But you have to watch it because at the very, very end of the song, there's like dancers on the ground holding their feet so they can do like a very intense, like smooth criminal lean. But then as the camera backs away, one of them fully falls down, and it's like
I watched
that
video that you linked, and no, she doesn't. That is not there at the end. Nuh-uh. No, it's not. I watched it all the way to the end. She leans, and then the camera just cuts away. You can't see anyone falling.
Was it a different stage?
Maybe.
It must have been a different stage.
Okay,
because I swear on my life I saw someone fall. I'll change it out. But I'm questioning myself, but I swear I saw one where she did go down. I'll have to look for it and make sure that's the one that's in the playlist because I said so.
I believe you that it happens because as I was watching it, I was like, this does look like the kind of girl group where one of them would fall, because whenever one of them is not singing, the others are like very unprofessional in the background. Like they're mouthing along the words. They're like smiling and looking and laughing at each other. They're like, it's like they think that no one can see them when they're not in the front. And I'm like, bitch, you are on camera. Like I see you. Like stop mouthing the words. No. It was very distracting.
Wow, jewelry.
First
get it together.
I know. Get it together.
All right, moving on to April. On the 3rd of April, Click B came back with their third album, Click B3, and the single is called Undefeated. We talked about Click B in the 2000 episode, that they are like a band / like they have guitar boys and dancing boys. But there was a hair in the music camp stage that I'm truly like, I don't even know what to do with. The roots of this boy's hair are so lifted that his hair then like falls like a delicate curtain. But how did they get it so tall I don't understand how it happened.
I don't know how they did that to that boy's head, but I swear to God, it hangs like a goddamn lampshade. It is like a rectangle around his face with like fringe. Like it is crazy. It's crazy. That's the only note I have for this aside from
I couldn't
being
think about
loud.
anything else. I couldn't see anything else.
There is one of the dancing boys that has shoulder-length black hair with like a blonde ombre in the tips, and that's pretty. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the lampshade hair I couldn't see anything else. Every time it came back on the screen, I was like, but how?
And it looked so light. Like it didn't look heavy. I was just so, I don't know.
I mean, it's like he stuck his finger in a socket or something and just like,
and then it was like, yeah. Gotta see it. Okay, the next day on April 4th, a big piece of fun breaking news is that Tony from HOT announced that he was applying for Korean citizenship and he was gonna stay because it's his home now. And that was big news. On the 13th of April, Finkel came back with an album called Melodies and Memories. And the main single, or the main conceit of this album, was that the whole album was remakes of songs from the 80s and 90s. So the main single was a remake of Hye Eun-yi's song from 1981, You Wouldn't Know. If it's love or just Yeah, this album went to number 2 and sold 250,000 plus copies. And the music video for this song has like a movie parody. Like one of them is like Pretty Woman and one of them is like a spy. And then one of them does that Korean drama where the girl yells into the snow that's also parodied in the Twice music video.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's fun. And there's a second single that I recommend called Always Like This that I think I also have in the playlist. But it was fun. But I thought it was interesting that some of the songs, like the second single, is only 5 years old when they re-record it. So like that just feels like an interesting choice for a remake album instead of, you know, like doing songs that are 20 years old.
Oh yeah, to do a
like
song that was
remake
that
a song
recent.
that's just like 5 years old.
That is
But do
interesting.
it our way.
It's a fun song though.
All right, it's time to move on to May. May 5th, Kim Gun-mo came back with an album called Another Day, and the main single is called I'm Sorry. And once again, number 1 album, 1.3 million copies, all the awards at Mama. These ballads.
Wow.
How they love the ballads.
Yeah, this is just like that's my only note is that this is just a pretty song. And the music video is very cinematic, has like a guy and a girl and tells their love story over like many years. And there's like a time, whatever, they get separated and they get reunited and they suck face at the end. And I was like, oh, wow, okay. But yeah, it's just beautiful. Pretty
yeah,
song.
I wanted to note that if you are a watcher of the Netflix program Busted, that Jae-wook from Busted is the main guy in this music video, but he has like a long blonde, like feathered mullet for most of it, and it's kind of surprising and fun to see him young and with weird hair. Okay, here we go. Big news. May 13th. Disbandment. There's a press conference that announces that after contract negotiations, Kangta and Moon Hee-jun will be staying at SM, but all the other members of HOT are out, and that is it for HOT.
Riots in the streets!
Yes, as we've noted on this podcast before, their fans threw rocks at the building and like blocked traffic and like truly acted like absolute psychos over this.
Yeah, they did.
And yeah, they did.
It's accurate.
Yeah, so that's kind of like it. That ends our first gen boy group rivalry. Sex Geese ended last year. HOT is gone. Like that first little class of boy bands, it's over. It's time for new people. Crazy.
Yeah, and if you think about like the exponential growth of like a boy group's career, whatever, like think about like how short the HOTs were around, and now like they're getting longer and longer and longer.
Yeah, I wonder if those guys had known, like back then, that there could have been a chance that they could have like kept doing it if they would have, or if it just seemed so unheard of that like, of course you have to end it after like 3 years. Like how could you possibly keep it going any longer than that?
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, even the Beatles only were together for like 4 years. So that is like interesting. Maybe they just thought it was so unfathomable. But it also seems like based on the way that the groups were put together, like the HOTs didn't like each other, right? So like they didn't like train and like grow up together in a way that a lot of the groups do now. So maybe they wouldn't have even wanted to.
Yeah. And I think there was also because there wasn't a lot of precedent. It seems like looking at the contract stuff for both HOT and Sex Geese, it's like those guys thought that maybe they had a better chance on their own. Like that these group contracts are holding me down, but like I'm the star of this show.
Yeah. As a soloist, I can do more.
If I could just get away, then they'll know the truth about my potential. I don't know.
Yeah,
it worked out for some of them. But Yeah. All right. On the 22nd of May, we have a combo comeback disbandment. those when those happen
Don't
at
you
the
hate it
same
when those happen?
when those happen. So
Got
there's a
seven.
girl, right? Girl group Papaya, who only debuted in 2000. We covered their debut last time. Put out an album called Violet with a single called Making Love. But two of the members left while they were recording this album, and then they put it out, and then only three of them were around to do the promotions for the song, and then no more Papaya. That was it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bummer.
Because they were cute, and they did nice, refreshing, cute things.
Yeah, they were fun. This one has just like my notes were just diamonds and crop tops and club beats. Oh my! But yeah, one of the girls has like a really good belt, and the other ones, you know, they put the notes. They put the notes in their mouths. I don't know.
They tried.
they sing the notes.
Speaking of what we were talking about a second ago, on the 25th of May, Kang Sung-hoon, who was a member of Sex Geese, debuted as a solo artist with an album called Emergency, and the single was called Blessing You. And I couldn't find any like sales information about this album, like if anybody gave a fuck, but based on the live performances and the way that these fangirls were screaming every word, I think I think at least his people really liked this.
Yeah, it's a really, really
He's a good
pretty
singer.
song. He's an incredible singer, and he has a very pretty face. So I was like, I get it. Like, this guy.
Sure. Yeah. Good for you. You're doing it.
Yeah, he has another all-girl band, which is fun, and there's like a nice, like reedy, like bamboo flute at the beginning, which is very pretty. Just a really, really beautiful song.
Yeah. So that finishes up May. June 4th. This is a comeback. Boy group NRG comes back with an album and single titled Sorrow. This song was written by Kangta, who, while going through like this whole thing, I think Kangta was like the Hui of the early 2000s, because it seems like he would gift people. It kept being written in the Korean articles that he would gift his songs to people. Like, if you get a song from Kangta, then like he's blessing you with a hit or whatever is what it seemed like. Anyway, the thing about this that I was truly shaken by is we talked in the 2000 episode that NRG tragically lost a member when he suddenly died of illness while they were on tour. So this was their first album back. And I didn't put it in the playlist because I thought it was so tasteless. But the music camp performance for this song literally starts with funeral footage of these boys carrying their member's casket set to that Mozart song that's always in scary movies. And then it cuts to this stage where they do this terrible Bills, Bills, Bills ripoff song in dedication of their member. And I just I didn't even know what to do with it. I was like, this is the most tasteless shit I've ever seen in my whole life.
Yikes.
Yeah, the song is not good. And I remember when we said last year, and then they dedicated their song Sorrow to their member. This is not the song I was expecting to hear at all.
No, it's like drama rap.
Yes.
And it has I It has like a pretty fun chorus, but yeah, it is like bills, 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 and then it has like a Spanish guitar break. It's just it's not a song I expected to be an in memoriam's tune.
Right?
That's for sure.
And then the craziest thing, I think, is the music video itself has the plot line of an email forward that people used to send around at this time. And the story of the music video is there's like a girl who's like a painter, and then she goes blind, and then her boyfriend, who loves her so much, donates his eyes to her, and then she wakes up and she can see, and she's like, "Where's my boyfriend?" And they're like, "He's gone, he gave you his eyes." And she's like, "No." And that's what the plot of the music video is.
He died? He couldn't give her his eyes without dying?
I guess not. I don't know. But
I have questions about that medical science.
Yeah. So that's NRG.
Wow. Yikes.
On that same day, Baby Vox came back with an album called Boyish Story. And this single is called Game Over. And this album was supposed to come out in January of 2001, but all of the members said that they wanted to help with the album, so they all took composing classes, and then everybody contributed to songs on this album.
That's
which
so
I thought was
fun.
really neat.
Yeah, that is really cool. That being said, there is a lot happening in the instrumentation of this song, and maybe it was a case of let's throw everything
Too
we
many
learned
cooks in the
kitchen. That composing class, all of the lessons were in this one song. There's just so much happening in it that it's like it does seem a little bit messy. But it has a really fun chorus, and there's this like huge like butt wave like in the choreo that they do like up against the male dancers. And I was like, oh my, Baby Vox. But yeah, good for that.
Yeah, the concept of this Baby Vox album was to be quote unquote boyish instead of girly. So they wore suits, and one of them got a very short haircut.
Ooh.
Yeah, the music video for this one is interesting because it's like there's two dudes that seem to be fighting over one of them, and one of the dudes has dreadlocks and is smoking and has a gun, and then the other dude has like Eminem like shaved bleach hair and lots of tattoos, and then the girls are like wearing suits in the back of limousines, and they're like game over, and like I don't know what's happening in it.
Yeah, I didn't follow the plot of that one either. My only note was a lot of bad hair in this. So.
Yeah. A lot of bad hair. Okay, on the 8th of June, JYP, Jin Young Park, JYP, put out an album called Game. And the single off this one is called I Have a Woman. Got a music show win, and this song went to number 2, and this album sold 383,000 copies. And I don't know what to say. I don't have anything nice to say about this. The live performance of this is shocking at how bad it is. Why has he been able to get away with this for 20 years? That's what I want to know.
Don't know, because he is such a horrible singer. It is like truly crazy the way that he just like, I don't even know. I like can't even do an impersonation of the way that he sings, but he sings like Onew's impression of Jonghyun's Michael Jackson, like the like that is like every note is like pushed out until it is nothing but breath,
Until it squeaks.
and then in this one, oh my god, as soon as I started the live performance, I was like, oh, here we go. Literally in my notes it says, here we go. He is wearing a see-through lace purple sleeveless top with these like little purple
Capri
shiny
pants.
pantaloons, because they like go just to underneath his knees. And I was like, is he wearing tap shoes? Like, what are these shoes? And yeah, they are tap shoes.
Yeah,
there's
there's
a
a tap
tap
break.
break where these two guys who are not his normal backup dancers come out and do this like insane tap break, because the rest of his normal backup dancers, which include Rain, he's on that stage.
Yeah.
100% in an equally see-through black shirt.
Uh-huh.
All of the regular backup dancers are also wearing tap shoes, but just doing like regular choreo that just has like weird faint taps.
Yeah.
And then there's this whole big tap break in the middle. And I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? This is so, if anyone else was doing this, I think I would really like it. But I don't.
That is my main note was, like all JYP songs, it would be better if it wasn't him.
Yeah.
It like is a good R&B song. It has like a good melody. I like the emotion of it, but like he is bad.
Yeah.
And it's not fun to listen to him try to sing it because he's not good. And I'm just so I'm truly endlessly fascinated by the way that like he has just, I think that it's just the extreme confidence that he exudes, that for the last 20 years nobody has just been like, dude, no, you're not good, because he does not believe that.
Yeah, and I
So,
think and
that's
like, I
the
guess
truth.
eventually he just like put his shit out himself, right? Because he was
Right.
like, I don't need you guys to tell me that I'm good. I'm gonna do it anyway. Oh God.
Yeah. But this is a song. He still sings this song. Like this is an important JYP song. And if you can find someone else singing it,
It's probably great.
do check that out. Okay. On the 18th of June, we had a debut. Jangnara debuted with First Story, and the single is called Confession. This is the Jangnara that you do know from dramas. She is like the drama actress, the go-to drama actress now, but she did start out as a solo artist under SM Entertainment. They didn't keep her very long from what I read today because they realized that she wasn't that great.
She is not a good singer at
No.
all. I am
Beautiful and cute and engaging, but nope, not good at singing.
oh man, really quite bad. Like that stage was hard to watch. I'm kind of surprised they debuted her at all.
Yeah. No, it's weird. I watched a drama of hers. Now I can't even remember what it was called. A couple of years ago, I stopped because it fell apart really, really hard at the end. But in the drama, her character was a former idol, and they were able to use weird footage of her from like back at this time in the drama to like, and she was very upfront about not being good. So even she knew that.
Well, good for
But yeah,
her.
it's interesting to look at like SM's early catalog, because for such a time they were kind of the only game in town. So they kind of debuted a lot of people and then erased them from their timeline.
Yeah.
If you don't, you gotta really make them happy to stay on the timeline.
Prune that family tree. I did note, however, that her stage outfit is the same as the prom dress that Bianca wears in 10 Things I Hate About You, which is just like a t-shirt crop with like a tulle skirt. And I thought that was cute.
Yeah. Great. Good note. Okay, this is the last thing I have for this chunk of 2001. last comeback of June on the 28th, it's our boys Shinhwa with an album called Hey, Come On. And the single is also called Hey, Come On. This was Shinhwa's fourth studio album. It broke records with its pre-order sales because they exceeded 300,000 copies. It ended up selling a total of 434,203 albums and was number 3 at its peak and the number 11 album of the year.
Shinhwa continues to be the best first-gen group, in my opinion. Also, happy birthday to me on this day in 2001. I turned 11.
And how would 11-year-old you have felt about this Shinhwa music video?
She would have fucking loved it. She would have been all about Shinhwa, and 30-year-old self is as well. There's like a lot of NSYNC vibes in this music video and in the choreo. The music video is like one of those sort of bye like box videos where they're in like a little space room or whatever, and then the music video or the choreography is a lot of that like big like sidestepping. Yes. That is like an NSYNC move. But I told you this before we started recording that this song got du jour around the world from Josie and the Pussycats stuck in my head, which is fine because it's a very catchy song and I really enjoy that movie and I have no problem with it getting stuck in my head. But I feel like it's just, this is both a compliment to Josie and the Pussycats for like perfectly nailing that 2001 sound, and also a compliment to Shinhwa for perfectly nailing that 2001 sound. So compliments all around. My compliments to the chef.
To the chefs.
To the Shinhwa.
Who have their guns out in the music video.
Guns out, buns out. That's what Shinhwa says.
That is what they say. And there's also another like mind-blowing hair situation in this music video where it seems like they took just like 10 strands of hair and gelled it and then did an entire head of it. So it's just like every hair is like separated and covered in gel and it's like so big and like it looked crazy.
It looked so crazy. I was like very disappointed that we could only see this in like so few pixels because I desperately wanted to see the details of that hair. Whatever they did, because I was like, these can't possibly be tiny braids. Like the way that they stick out,
they're too small.
They're too thin and they're too sticky. Like it's like they just made his head look like straw. Like it just looks it's sticking out like the Scarecrow in Wizard of Oz, and I don't know how they did it. It must have taken forever.
Yeah, I was truly.
Was that worth the effort?
I don't know. We're still talking about it 20 years later, so
maybe it
was. One last note about this, just because I thought it was like an interesting piece of drama news for the time. So, member Andy was not in this album. And he's not in the jacket, like his picture isn't in it. So a lot of really nasty rumors started getting spread about him because he like wasn't showing up in the album. And so people thought bad things about Andy. But the truth was that he was in the United States taking care of his sick mother. So shame on everybody.
That is so
saying
sad.
Bad things about Andy.
That's so sad.
I know.
But also, why wouldn't the company just like put out a thing that's like Andy?
Because it's
here.
SM and they have 65. They have 65 artists and they have no time to make statements. I don't know.
They make statements now.
They do. They sure do. Yeah. So that catches us. That brings us to the middle of 2001. We'll do the rest of it another day. But do you have any thoughts, notes about this chunk that we did watch? A few trends that I noted was several instances of an all-white outfit. like a
Yes.
group in a fully white outfit.
Absolutely.
Lots of turtlenecks in general. Boys and girls, just, even if it's a sleeveless shirt, like just a lot of turtlenecks. Noticed a lot of Nehru collars, which are the collar that goes tall and has a little square cut out of it, if you don't know. Those were very popular. And then, yeah, the hair. Last time, I feel like the hair was like mostly large and peroxided. And this time, we still had the peroxide, but I think there were more straightened looks, especially boys with like shoulder length straightened hair. I noticed quite a lot of.
And I noticed a lot of boys that had like the asymmetrical like conkta haircut where it's like to the chin in the front and then like short like to the ears in the back. And yeah, like blow dried, like out, like long and straight, like close to their faces. Of course, the chonky highlights were like all over the place.
Still
and I
everywhere.
also noticed that a lot of the girls, whenever they had pigtails, they would have like bird's nest pigtails where like either it was just like an absurd knot of like frizzy teased curls in like buns in their heads, or the braid itself was like teased out so that it looked very messy, very weird. I noticed a lot of course, baggy pants, right? That classic like early 2000s style, and the like sidestep choreo was in like a lot of them.
Yes.
I felt like I saw a lot of the same choreography like over and over and over. There's very, very specific 2001 choreo, I think. But the biggest trend that stuck out to me was how much smoking there was in the music videos. A lot of smoking in these music videos, and you would never have that now. Like now when there's smoke coming out of the music, no warnings. And now whenever like an idol has smoke coming out of their mouth, they don't have a cigarette in their hand. Like it's just like smoke. It doesn't have.
Yes.
And it's usually
which
like
is why we were
freaking
out about smoking, because it was like, look at how like
look
how
at him,
like
he's actually
in your face
smoking.
this is, because even in the 365 Fresh music video where there's like implied nudity, they blur the cigarettes.
Yes. Yeah.
Censor them out. But I noticed that in so many music videos, and I was curious if that was just like a cool trend at the time, or if people just like weren't noticing about like, oh, you probably shouldn't smoke on TV yet. Like, I truly don't know, because now something like that would come with a huge warning. And so you'd think that these music videos marketed to teens would not have such things, but I don't know. I don't know what the music video playing culture was like then either.
Yeah, as far as like
was there an MTV equivalent of like playing music videos all day long, or were they just at special times? I don't know. These are questions to find out. But that was it. That was our first little dive into 2001. We'll do the rest another day. And that was really fun. I like living in the past and finding out information about things that happened a long time ago. It's fun to play detective. And with that, we'll be right back with our random game. All right, we're back. And we got a girl group that debuted not too long ago, but has seemed to have a tumultuous time. And this is another random game sad time. We got Cupid.
Originally a 4-member girl group. Cupid was under Narda Entertainment, and they debuted on April 29th, 2015 with the song I Feel Good under IN Entertainment, which they eventually left and moved to Narda Entertainment in mid-2016. So they were only with their debut company for about a year and a half after debut. But they had a lot of lineup changes. There's 9 total former members listed, even though it seems like only 4 or 5 were ever there at a time. But like some of the members like like, for example, Yera was announced and then she didn't join it. So they announced someone else instead. And then, like, one of the original members left and then she came back and then she left again. So, like, I don't fucking know, man. It seems like a mess.
Yes, but there was like one member named Bona who named the group and was there through the whole run. And she went on Mix 9, like, as Cupid and seemed to be the backbone of this whole operation.
Yes, and she is actually the only one to ever make any kind of statement regarding the band's disbandment, because she, in early 2019, or in the summer of 2019, Bona had put something on her Instagram story of like, thank you for remembering Cupid, and fans asked her like, wait, what is Cupid? Like, are you guys done? And she said, yeah, we've disbanded. But the company, there was no official statement. Like, she put that out herself.
Yeah. So, tumultuous, but we do have their debut music video pulled up from 2015. It's called I Feel Good. And I see a 15 rating sticker here on the corner. So, who knows what's going to happen? I'm guessing butt cheeks based on the pictures we saw in their profiles.
Yeah,
but
I would guess that as well.
Yeah. All right, ready to watch this?
Yes.
3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah. All right.
Oh no, this looks like it was filmed on a cell phone.
Yeah, it does look like it was filmed. Oh my god. Okay, them in front of this like CGI backdrop is so terrible, but the shadows look like oh wow, this is cheap.
It's very cheap. It looks like it looks like the Just Dance video game.
Yes.
It looks just like the Just Dance video game
with the silhouettes.
Like, yeah. There's shadows.
Oh my god, look at how cheap these costumes are. This is
they're
very
wearing like
upsetting.
Sexy butler. Was that her cleavage blurred? No, I think it's just the feathers. Maybe it was just the feather boa-ness of it. It looked like maybe they had blurred her boobies. Are they wearing stripper heels with those like outfits where they're just wearing sweats?
Yeah, they're wearing these like insane stripper heels in all of these outfits. No matter. Oh wow.
Oh no, they're at like Dave and Buster's, like dancing in the middle of the like.
They like rented this roller rink for like an afternoon.
Stuff like this makes me so sad. I don't know what to do with it except feel sad.
Yeah.
That people had dreams and that other people took advantage of their dreams and then they were crushed in this way.
Yeah, that this is what those dreams amounted to. No, upskirt shots. Don't do it. Oh, these fucking maid costumes. Yeah. Oh my god.
Now, see, the thing I don't like about music videos like this is like I feel like they are making me a perv. I did not ask for this. I would never put a camera down there. Don't put this on me.
Yikes.
I mean, they all look very hot in the costumes. Like,
sure.
Yeah,
oh, man.
Oh, does she have magic? They just spent some CGI money to make her hand go whoosh.
Yeah, there's a bird's nest. The CGI in this is, wow, just so terrible. What are these, like, rotating skyscrapers with their faces reflected like giants in the buildings?
It's the bird arms that we, like, saw in the songs earlier. They, like, do the same bird arms.
Yikes.
Oh,
it's still
outro?
Going.
Oh, I guess she woke up
What?
from her.
Oh, it was
I
just
guess
a
it was a
dream?
dream.
Oh,
Where she was
yikes.
having a good dance party with her friends. It was just a
That was
dream.
rough. That was rough.
That was rough. Wow. All right, Cupid. I hope you all have cool, good jobs now and you're doing okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wherever you are.
Wherever you are.
Take care of yourself.
All right. It's time for weekly recommendations. And do we have any recommendations from our Patreon listeners?
We sure do. So if you are one of our seasoned fans in our Patreon, you have the ability to send us a weekly recommendation. However, not a weekly, a monthly recommendation, I should say. There's no real cap, but maybe 1 to 2 recommendations a month. I would say that if you send in more than that, we will certainly not read more.
I'll start
than
ignoring
2 of
them if I notice you're spamming
Yeah.
our recommendation
You start spamming
box.
us, we're going to start making more restrictions, but we're trusting you to be respectful and have some constraint or restraint. So we sent out, through our Patreon, we sent out a link to a Google form where all of our season fans can send us a recommendation each month of something that they'd like for us to see with a short, see or hear. It can be either, right? Because we recommend all kinds of things like variety shows or interviews or, dance performances, whatever, or even just a song. Our first Patreon recommendation comes from one of our listeners, Young from West Hollywood, and Young recommends gay black British reaction superstar, It's Rafi, which Young says is honestly the perfect escape during these manic times, with his explosion of overreactions where he would accuse Kai of making him pregnant while sipping ginger tea from his black pink mug in front of his Jin from BTS poster collection. He is an outrageous gem and what the world needs now. Specifically, Young recommends what they think is the best reaction video, which will give you much needed therapy and laughter. His reaction to Mamamoo's Hip. He doesn't just adore Hwasa, he wants to be Hwasa. Take a look. Long live It's Rafi. So there you go. Check that out. It's
Great
Rafi
suggestion.
reaction video to Mamamoo's Hip. Thank you, Young.
Thank you, Young. I've definitely seen some of those videos. That guy has a good accent and a great energy and attitude. So good one. Do you have any recommendations? Or are you letting Young take your spot this week?
I'm letting Young take my spot this week because I've been in a shiny Sunmi hole that I haven't gotten out of for weeks.
Sure. I will have a recommendation because I meant to do it last week, but I was so lost in my specific shiny feels I forgot about this one thing. So I will recommend a drama if anybody is needing a drama in their life. Netflix's Love Struck in the City. All the episodes are out, so you don't have to wait. This is just a sweet little rom-com, 30-minute episodes, no murder, nobody has any deep childhood trauma. It's sexy. They discuss consent in a responsible way. It's funny. Like I said, the episodes are short, so it goes by really quick. Mino is on it. He plays a cop. The last episode appears to be a backdoor pilot. That's because the last episode is only about Mino. They wrap up the story in 16, and then Mino's character gets a whole episode at the end of the show. Ooh. So I recommend it exclusively for that. But it was really fun. I enjoyed it so much. I finished it in 2 days, and I wish I had spaced it out a little more. But it was nice to have such a carefree, fun drama that I was very invested in. So Love Struck in the City, check it out.
Nice. Good rec.
And that's it for this week. If you would like to get in contact with us, we can be found at AMA Kpop Pod on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to join our Patreon and submit recommendations and get fun extra episodes, patreon.com/AMA Kpop Pod. We have a voicemail, 181 AMA Kpop 5. Thank you to everybody who sent in an extra Don't Call Me voicemail, even though the episode was out. I still wanted to hear your yelling. It's fine. So thank you for that. Call us anytime with any feels or questions or whatever you want.
You can also write to us at P.O. Box 26096, Los Angeles, California, 90026.
Yeah, and I think that that is it for now. Exciting announcements upcoming. Can't say more about it, but just know that. And we'll
Fun
see you
things in the
next
works.
week.
Goodbye.
Until then, goodbye. Jonghyun, your inspiration.